we have now absolutely reached the place where I highly recommend that when you hear anything Donald Trump says, immediately think, not what does that mean, but that what he means, the opposite is actually true. With regards to Jared Kushner, his son-in-law, that's the focus of this breaking story and Trump's abject BS on a regular basis. Just listen to what he said about his family being involved.
Donald Trump returning to the White House for a second term, but this time around with a smaller entourage in tow. The president-elect telling Fox News his kids will not serve in his administration.
I said, that's enough for the family. You know why? It's too painful for the family. My family's been through hell.
Oh, yeah. It's been absolute hell, hasn't it, Jared? You know that $2 billion you got from the Saudis, or we got, I just didn't tell anyone, remember?
Last weekend, we got new details on how Jared Kushner and the ex-president benefited from Saudi money since leaving the White House. Kushner, who had cozy relations with Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman and led the push for his father-in-law to prioritize a relationship with the Saudis, including making it the first foreign trip, received $2 billion from a fund chaired by the Crown Prince known as NBC. Nice work if you can get it. The ex-president also benefited from Saudi-backed tournaments at his golf course and a Saudi real estate company's agreement to build a Trump hotel in Oman. Sounds like a perfect opportunity for the House Oversight Committee to investigate whether a former president, his senior White House advisor, peddled government access to enrich themselves, something that committee chairman James Comer was asked about Sunday.
It's a $2 billion investment in Kushner's funds from the Saudis. We know the former President Trump has also received funds related to the Saudi golf tour. Senator Ron Wyden says these financial entanglements deserve investigation. Will you be investigating that as well?
I think everything's on the table. Look, we're investigating Joe Biden.
Is everything on the table, really? The ranking member of that committee, Jamie Raskin of Maryland, has now renewed a prior request to Kushner for documents related to, quote, reports you improperly traded on your government position while carrying out the Trump administration's foreign policy in the Middle East. Raskin this week asked Comer to co-sign the letter.
And let me just tell you, Washington has not changed Donald Trump. Donald Trump has changed Washington.
Jared, would you like to say something about peace in the Middle East to this very small crowd?
I would just say in Washington, if the things that the politicians were talking about were easy, they would have been done a long time ago. But it took a leader like President Trump to come in and shake things up a little bit. But we've seen things get done that we never imagined could happen.
And add to it, of course, Trump said out loud back in 2016, if anyone can solve Middle East peace, it'll be Jared. That's weird. I don't think what's going on in the Middle East today is what we would call peace. But of course, Trump likes to tell you something and do the exact opposite, because in this breaking story, what is the news of the day? Jared Kushner being an advisor to Trump. Here it is. Raw Story reports, friend and advisor. Jared Kushner reportedly has a behind-the-scenes role with Trump. Jared Kushner is working behind the scenes with Donald Trump's incoming administration, but he isn't expected to take a formal role, according to new reporting. NBC News reported on Wednesday that Trump's children are notable absences from his new team. Kushner now offers suggestions behind the scenes and receives calls from incoming members of Trump's team asking for advice, the report says, citing people familiar with his involvement. The report highlights Kushner's role in Trump's first term before going further in Kushner's current role. In quotes, now the president-elect calls Kushner periodically to get his opinion on some potential hires, the former senior White House official said. According to the NBC report, Kushner has also spent time talking to Stephen Witkoff, whom Trump tapped to be special envoy to the Middle East, helping him get up to speed on part of the world that is beset by war, this person added. The Trump report adds that Kushner's aim is to be the friend and advisor to Trump's new team that he wished he had when he joined Trump White House in 2017, the former official said. In quotes, during the transition, Kushner has weighed in on certain appointments and nominations, one in particular being a plug for private equity executive Mark Rowan to be nominated for Treasury Secretary. 4 sources familiar with the conversation said. Trump instead chose hedge fund executive Scott Bessent, the report says. The report quotes another source as saying he is going to run his business and continue to build his family. He will, I think, help on things like the Middle East if asked, but he had such a trying experience last time that I don't think he's interested. It's not bad blood, the person added, according to the report. He's just going to be doing other things. So to keep our sanity going forward for the next 4 years, I highly recommend that rather than thinking about what Trump says as something he'll put in action, actually stop and listen to what he says and think, oh, about 75 to 90% of the time, what would be the absolute 360-degree reality from what he just said? Because that is the direction we are indeed headed with this man. He can't help himself. It's like the old parable of the scorpion and the frog. It is his nature. Stay frosty.